Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, and welcome to Operation Fit Gamer. I'm Edward Crisler, your host. And today we've got some different topics. We're going to discuss two different things. The first topic we're going to discuss today is what I told you I was going to do this week, which is my personal story, my narrative. And remember, I want to hear your stories. Go to our Facebook page, link down below. Send an email, link down below. Tell me a little bit, and if you're interested, get a hold of me. We'll hook up on Skype, and we'll record you telling your story, because nobody can tell it like you can tell it. So let me tell you mine. I wasn't always a big guy. Back in my 20s, I was a competitive cyclist. I wasn't great or nothing, but I did okay. I did time trials. And I was in really good shape. 225, 230 pounds, was cycling 50 to 100 miles a day. Everything was going really well. So you might say, Ed, what happened? Well, what happened is something that as a gamer, many of you will appreciate. I'd been cycling competitive for quite some time, and I was okay, but some circumstances in my life began to balloon out of control. And I got into a panic. I got upset. I got scared. I was having trouble finding work. I needed to find work quickly. That's another story. We won't delve into the deep details of that. And I got into a panic. And so my puny little 20-year-old brain decided that I was going to make a living being a competitive cyclist. At the time, there was something going on called the Race Across America, which was a bicycle race from Los Angeles to New York. 10 days to cover that distance. And the guy who traditionally won that, Lon Haldeman, lived in St. Louis, which is close to me. So I actually drove up and met him. Really great guy. And we talked about this, and he explained to me what I needed to do. Now, to successfully compete in this race, you needed to pull back-to-back triple centuries. Okay? Now, you need to understand what a triple century is. A triple century is 300 miles. And to be really competitive, you need to do that in under about 15, 12 hours, something in there. That's really hard to do. So I trained for this, and I built up, and I got my endurance up, and I went out to do my first triple century. This was to prove to myself I could do it. And I averaged over 20 miles an hour for the whole thing. I did fantastic. Except when I got done at the end of the day. I get done at the ride. Friends had to help me off the bike. My legs were so engorged with blood from cycling for so long. Now, obviously, there were breaks there for bathroom and stuff like that, but most of the time it was just riding. And I was tired, and I was engorged with blood, and for 3 days, I didn't touch a bicycle. And I realized there was no way I was ever going to be a competitive cyclist at that level. That was just never going to happen. It was done. It was never going to be a reality. And I did something that, as all of you as gamers can appreciate. I rage quit. I literally went cold turkey from cycling. Bang, done. Not doing this again. Something that, to this day, I deeply regret that I let happen. Funny thing happens when you do that. You see, my metabolism was ridiculously high at that point. Lunch for me, this was lunch for me. I'd get a pound of deli turkey, a 12-pack of Kraft cheese, a loaf of Wonder sandwich sliced bread, and a 3-liter of grape soda, and that was lunch. And I wasn't gaining weight because I was burning it off every day. And while I stopped my activity level, my metabolism didn't quite slow down, and well, it did, but the hunger didn't. And before you knew it, I looked at I was 300 pounds. But I'm a pretty big guy. 300 pounds didn't look terrible on me, so I blew it off. Yeah, what the heck, right? 300 pounds. I still look good. My blood pressure's good. My blood sugars are good. I'm healthy. Well, 300 became 350. 350 became 400, and 4.25 is where this topped out. And for a long time, I just said, screw it. I was able to do the things I wanted to do in life. I had a successful radio show. I had a successful business. I got to work for Sapphire. I'm active in gaming communities. I got to do what I wanted to do. And then in July, actually June, is when everything changed. In June, I went through an emotional crucible. Now, the term depression gets used by a lot of people a lot on the internet. And I don't want to diminish it because there are many people that suffer from it. I was beginning to suffer from it, but it wasn't a chemical depression. It wasn't anything like that. It was circumstances were driving me into a dark place, into a hole. And I hit a realization. I hit a realization, and we've talked about this. It was my mortality moment. Most people, when they have a mortality moment, they've had a heart attack, they've had a stroke, or they've had a good friend die. By the way, I've had a good friend die, but I've never had a heart attack or a stroke. My mortality moment was waking up one morning and realizing I got 20, 25 years at the rate I'm going if I'm lucky. Do I want to be miserable for 25 years? Do I want to be chasing relationships for 25 years? And I decided, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to be happy for the rest of my life. I'm going to be happy. I'm going to do the things I love to do. And one of the things that came up in that decision was I want to be more physically active. I want to be up. I want to get back to cycling. I want to get back on a rowing machine. I want to be more physically fit. And you know what? With that more physically fit, instead of 25 years, maybe I can get 30. Because as the song says, who wants to live forever? I do. Anyway, that was the decision process for me. And I looked at my weight, and I looked at my history, and I sat down with my doctor, and he got me going to a psychologist. I love her. She's a great woman, who helped me get my bearings straight emotionally. As for the physical stuff, we made a decision that I needed to lose quite a bit of weight. Like I said, at the time this was all going on in early July, I was weighing in about 372, 375. And we decided I probably was going to need some help to lose the weight. So we agreed it was time to go for bariatric surgery. Now, the surgeon wants me to get a gastric bypass. What I want to have is a bariatric sleeve. It's a simpler procedure, and it has a few less complications, a few less risks. And they're going to do the sleeve if I want to do the sleeve, but that's another part of the story. So we began the process of preparing for the bariatric surgery, and the first step was there were things we had to do. I needed to be more physically active. I was going to have to lose 20 pounds. I had to make other changes. So as I described in my goal setting video, I began the process of doing this. I started with, I'm going to get more physically active. I'm going to walk every day. And just for total honesty, I haven't been real good about that the last couple of weeks. That's another video at another time to discuss. Was going to get more physically active. And this amazing thing happened as I did it. The more I walked, the better I felt, emotionally and physically. The more I walked, the more excited about life I became, the more gung-ho I became, the more attacking of this whole thing I became. And at the end of the first month, at the end of July, I'd accomplished my goals. I was walking daily. Everything was good. So next we added the low carb eating style. And the weight began to melt, not just lose, it began to melt off. And that just fed the excitement, and it fed the drive, and it fed the hunger. And all of this gets rolling, and the Operation Fit Gamer came about because I approached my bosses. We was talking about the fact I was doing all this, and I said, I want to tell others. I want to share it with others. This is what I want to do. I tried to kind of do this before. The idea, though, is for a support group for me, too. These people will drive me. They will keep me going. They will keep me honest. And so there's Operation Fit Gamer. So what has happened with all of that? Well, if you followed Facebook and stuff, you know this. If you haven't, that's why I'm going to fill you in here. We just did a medical exam. And what we have found is this. I started at 372, 373. I am at 325. This was in July, and today I'm at 325. My A1C in July was around 10.5. My A1C today is 6.1. If you're a diabetic, you understand that's a yippee dance moment. A 6.1 is stellar. And we did it with less drugs. We've actually removed drugs from me for diabetic control. And we're still getting better. So this is outstanding. This is really exciting for me. Weight loss is going good. My blood pressures are stable. The blood pressure I just took the other day was like 125/70, which is, for a guy my size, that's incredible. My resting heart rate is down into the low 60s. Everything is moving in the right direction. But the best part is, forget the weight loss for a minute. The best part is I feel better. When I get in the dumps, I go for a walk, and that makes my mood better. When I get tired, I go for a walk, believe it or not. I just go for a walk when I'm a little tired, and it'll re-energize me. I'm up, and I'm more mobile. I can go to the mall and go shopping with my wife, and I'm not tired and wanting to kill her after 15 minutes. I park at the back of parking lots and walk up, and people look at me like I'm nuts, but I feel great doing it. I've been building projects. I'm crawling under desks again. I'm doing all this stuff, and it's a wonderful feeling. Okay, and it's not just weight loss that attributed to this. It's getting up. It's getting physically active, and that's what we want you to do with Operation Fit Gamer. So that's my story right now. The story's not over. We're still getting started, and we're still on track for bariatric surgery in March. But my doctors and I have been discussing this, and it looks like we're about to cancel the surgery. We're going to hold off on a final decision till February, because that's when my last appointment was going to be before the surgery anyway. We're going to hold off. We're going to leave this in our back pocket as an emergency escape plan if needed. We don't think we need it. I think we can do this completely on my own not on my own. You guys are helping me. The entire Operation Fit Gamer community is helping me. And I appreciate you all. I appreciate the encouragement. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you paying attention to the videos. And I appreciate you getting excited and trying to get fit with me. Now, I want to touch on a second topic real quick. This video is going to run a little longer, but it's about to be Thanksgiving here in the States. And I want to touch on this topic because I get a lot of questions this last week. How are you going to handle Thanksgiving? Well, you know what? My family can be a pain in the ass. And they'll look at me like, no, the food. Okay, folks, what do you mean, how am I going to handle the food? Why does everybody think that if you're a large person who's trying to get fit, Thanksgiving is a hurdle? Thanksgiving's barely a speed bump. Okay, I'm going to enjoy the food. I'm making mashed potatoes and mac and cheese. My daughter's making pie. We're gonna fry a turkey. We're gonna have just all sort. My wife's making stuffing and onion breads, and we're gonna have all sorts of stuff for Thanksgiving. We're gonna have a big green salad, the green bean casserole, potato casseroles for breakfast. That's a Chrysler family tradition, and we're going to do all of this, and I'm going to enjoy all of this with my family. Life, to really get it right, my experience of 54 years, is about moderation in all things. Specifically, moderation in moderation. You don't want to remove anything that's truly fun or joyous from your life if it's not. I got a text message received. Again, live, no extra takes, no editing. You get it here the way it's presented. It's about doing the things you love to do. It's about being happy with what you do, but it's also about not being stupid in what you do. Okay, having a big meal at Thanksgiving is not going to probably hurt you. That's not why you get fat. That's not why you get out of shape. The why you get fat is much easier to explain. It's the sitting with 3 boxes of ice cream, watching Game of Thrones in your underwear and being depressed that you're alone. That's why you might get fat. That's the time that you've got to take action and you need to deal with it. This is going to be a chance to be with the people I love, to have a great time, enjoy a great meal, and I'm going to do it. And then what am I going to do the day after Thanksgiving? Well, Thanksgiving Day I'm going to go for a walk, but the day after Thanksgiving I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go back to a reduced eating style that I've adopted, that I'm happy with, and I'm going to have a lot of turkey for my protein intake, and I'm just going to go back to normal, and it'll be fine. And then on Christmas Day, again, a nice meal with the family, but then back to normal. You can do this. This is not hard. You just have to understand that that off day, that day when you throw all of it to the wind and say, this is about enjoying the day, I'll get back on the track tomorrow, is not going to hurt you if you don't let it. So I invite you all, go out, enjoy your Thanksgiving meal if you're having Thanksgiving. If you're not having Thanksgiving, you know what? Enjoy a day with the rest of us in Fit Gamer and take a day off. Take a day off and relax with us, and maybe have a bowl of ice cream, or maybe have some M&Ms, or maybe have some turkey or some mashed potatoes, or whatever it is you enjoy that you try to avoid right now. That little bit, that's okay. Take a little bit tomorrow and enjoy the day with us. Now, as I said, it's Thanksgiving, and what am I thankful for? Well, I'm thankful for a lot of things, but the things that apply to this video are this. I'm thankful that my body is allowing me to get up and do these things. And I'm thankful that all of you are keeping me honest and keeping me on the right track. So enjoy your Thanksgiving if you're in the States, and if you're not in the States, you just enjoy the next week. Remember, step it to the next level. Until next time, get up and get moving.